So welcome to this great occasion, and it's very nice to have you here on this warm and moist morning. But thankfully, we're in here in the cool. You know, I'd like to make a couple of acknowledgments as some people who played key roles in what we have getting started here with this building here today. And I'd first like to start certainly with Scottsdale's Aviation Department, and of course their Aviation Director, Gary Mascaro, who you'll be hearing from in a little bit as well. And so it's also, it has been an important point for the council, and something that we have some council members here who were actively engaged in supporting it and working to make sure that it did happen in all forms. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of croak. You put a little moisture in the air and I've got a frog in my throat. But in any case, so we do have Vice Mayor Clapp here with us today, this morning. Thank you for being here. Councilman Phillips is here with his wife Cora. Thank you. And Councilwoman Littlefield, who is also here with us this morning. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. You know, we also want to extend a thanks to our commissioners, airport commissioners, past and present. The current chair, John Caligo, and vice chair, Bob Hobie, and commissioners, Steve Ziomek, who played an instrumental role in a particular component of this. He unfortunately is not being able to be here today, but Corey Little, Brad Berry, John Berry, Kevin Maxwell, and former commissioners Ken Casey. If you give them a hand, I think they're all here. You know, I didn't take a quick look around, but I do believe we have an instrumental in our top management who were very, very important at the beginnings of this and continue on to today. And that, of course, would be our acting city manager at the time, Brian Biesmeyer. I believe Brian's here. Yes, right here in front of me. Thank you, Brian. And our present city manager, Jim Thompson, who's also, I believe, here. But in any case, I want to thank them both. So thank you. A general acknowledgement of the development team for their great working relationship with the city of Scottsdale. Thank you all for that. It's always nice to have a great working relationship with people who are developing here in Scottsdale, and this is a prime example of it. You know, Scottsdale Airport, as we probably all know, is a premier general aviation airport in the country, and certainly in the area. And we're very proud of this airport, and we have every reason to be. And it's one of the reasons you could call it a revitalization, you could call it a redevelopment, but it's an evolution on the airport and what we do here in Scottsdale to continue to improve every aspect of Scottsdale's experience for our tourists and for our residents and for our businesses. Everyone who enjoys being here in Scottsdale. You might also know that this is the 75th year of this airport being an airport. You probably also know history goes well beyond or well before the city of Scottsdale, actually, in its operation. But it has been a contributor in a major way to the country and to this city and to the region. There were over 164,000 operations here at SDL last year. And nearly 400 aircraft call SDL home here in Scottsdale. And Scottsdale Airport and the air park, the vicinity hereof, contributes somewhere in the area of over $500 million to our local economy and our regional economy. So it's an important component for us. And visitors come from all over the world to utilize our airport. We know it has something to do with a great destination here in Scottsdale, but also the fact is we have a great airport to demonstrate what Scottsdale is all about. You know, several years ago, the master plan for the airport indicated that we had a need, because demand was high, for additional hangar space, but also office capacity here on the airport. And so we set to motion a redevelopment project to upgrade and enhance the area and introduce 2 new executive hangars of 30,000 square feet each, some of the largest at the airport here. The Aviation Business Center will host the airport administrative offices, U.S. Custom and Border Protection Office, new restaurant, event venue, leasable office space, public plaza, and of course with the Thunderbird 2 Veterans Memorial. The new design will also allow for great views of the airfield and the beautiful aircraft that are flying in on aircraft operations here on the field. Visitors and residents will truly experience an enhanced Scottsdale Airport experience here at this airport. The start of the project marks the city's commitment to keep Scottsdale Airport one of the premier airports, corporate jet facilities in the nation. So before I go any further, I'd like to get to the wall breaking. And if you didn't know, we're having a wall breaking today, and we're going to be hitting this wall, and there's a target there. But that'll come a little bit later. But nevertheless, and I've been told that we do not have the power in these sledgehammers with any of the individuals that have been armed with them to go clear through to the outside, and we're not attempting to do that today. So, so any superheroes that are here, just to control yourselves. But so before we get to that wall breaking ceremony, I'd like to turn it over to the Aviation Director, Gary Mascaro. Gary?
Well, welcome. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to our last time I think anybody will be in this terminal building, because tomorrow morning their power will be off and nobody's going to want to be in here because it's a little bit warm in here, that's for sure. But thank you very much for coming out so early in the morning. I'm not a morning person, so I'm going to wing this one. But this truly is an exciting project. And I look around the room, I see a lot of friends, a lot of business partners, a lot of support from the mayor and council. And it wouldn't happen without all of the support of each of you, and understanding that this is an exciting time for the city of Scottsdale, the Scottsdale Airport, and all of us, because we're all part of this together. This original terminal building was built actually in 1969 and then remodeled in the 1980s. It was designated a terminal building back in the day because we may or may not have had scheduled service or airline service here. But that is no longer the vision. The vision now is what we just talked about, what you see right here: hangar space, new office building complex, beautiful restaurant, banquet meeting venue, just here to accommodate not only the folks that operate on the airport every day, but the customers and users in the surrounding air park area and in the city of Scottsdale to come visit this airport and truly appreciate what gem we have right here. This was identified, as the mayor said, in the master plan a few years ago. And thanks to the support from the mayor and council, it truly is coming into fruition today. But we absolutely could not have had this done without a strong team of supporters. And I'd just like to recognize several of them right now, because we wouldn't be here today without that team. In particular, I'd like to recognize Kaufman Associates for the help of development of the master plan that the mayor and the city council approved. So thank you, Kaufman. I would also like to recognize, that'd be wonderful, thank you. I'd like to recognize DMD Real Estate Group for their help and assistance. There are real estate experts that came out here and did the market analysis to say, do we truly have a need to put aircraft in these hangars? Because that's our big build, is the hangars. So thank you, DMD Aviation Group. And our design team that has partnered together, that created lovely pictures, and they actually did the full design and a very large stack. I've never seen spec books so thick before. And it's double-sided, so I was like, I'm not reading that. But in particular, I'd like to thank Mead & Hunt and DWL Architects, our design team, for creating this wonderful project. So thank you very much. And then lastly, the folks that are actually going to get to blow this thing down and build it, and our great business partner that we have on contract right now, that we'll have the fencing starting up tomorrow, lots of potholing, and then in the last week in July, we'll see buildings starting to get knocked down. So I'd like to recognize J.E. Dunn Construction for this opportunity. So we're looking forward to working with you, and thank you very much. In addition, I'd like to thank a lot of our internal city departments. So the Scottsdale Airport works for the city of Scottsdale, and we only have 16 employees, but we have a ginormous team of folks within the city that really helped this happen. We certainly couldn't do it without them. So I'd just like to recognize 4 different areas within the city, and I'll list them all off and then we can give them applause. But First and foremost, our financial service department and our city treasurer's office, because we are using bond money to do this project, so I'd like to thank them. Our transportation folks for helping us figure out how we're going to create the road, so we're realigning the road back to the way it was pre-2005, so I'd like to thank them. Planning and Services Department, because they really helped us spearhead and move this forward very quickly through the planning process, because we have to follow the same process that every other private entity has to do. And of course, our Facilities and Services Department for really helping organize what type of equipment we're going to need that's going to be state-of-the-art in the future. So if we can give them all a round of applause, I'd appreciate it. So as Mayor Lane said, this truly is a premier general aviation airport. I'm very proud to have the opportunity to operate and manage this airport, being here for about 7 years again. And one thing that we notice is we have to really look outside the box. Being in the aviation industry for 20-something years now, which I can't believe, I look at other airports that are comparable to us, and I gotta say, there really is not many airports that are close to what Scottsdale has. And I'm not sure how many people truly appreciate that. I know I certainly do. And what my goal was is when we completed the master plan, we worked with our real estate group, is to really look at how can we maintain and also exceed our value of this airport. So this project absolutely will be solidifying us as ranking one of the top airports in the country. I'm not aware of any general aviation airport similar to us that's undertaking such a large task on their own and then working with our business partners. I'd also like to recognize our Thunderbird 2 Veterans Memorial. I think you see this right here. Our former chair of our commission and now Commissioner Steve Ziamek, who will be actually getting off the commission here soon and be termed out, woke up one morning, he tripped, bumped his head, and next thing he goes, you know what? An airplane would be really nice inside this building. So over a lot of hurdles that he worked on and the support of our city council and the mayor, we're here right now, and we're very pleased to say that this is happening. Mr. Ziamek and his Thunderbird 2 nonprofit organization purchased the aircraft. It has been completed with the painting. As you can see, it looks just like that. We are working with them diligently with our contractor, J.E. Dunn, and we're going to be adding this World War II monument as well as Thunderbird. It's going to be a wonderful centerpiece for the Scottsdale Airport as what I like to call the 50-yard line for not only folks that are coming in from all over the country that travel, but for our community. And I think that's really important to show. We do like to work with the community. We're here to the community. We want to showcase this airport and show how important this airport is for all of Scottsdale. So I'd like to thank them and Mr. Ziamek, who could not make it today, because believe me, he'd be on the mic right now. But he's unfortunately can't make it, but I'd like to give him a round of applause and his team. Okay, I'd like to recognize a couple more people, because I think this is the most important of all of them, is I'd like to recognize our key business partners. So one thing that we did when we went to the council was we said, we have a great idea, we want to build this. And of course the council's going to say, well, how are you going to pay for it? So what we did is we worked again with our real estate business team, and we evaluated the market analysis, and we felt like there is a need. Obviously there is. So we issued a request for proposals for the hangar space. And we were very pleased. We had several bidders, but we were very pleased that we received one that we're really excited to be working with. He'll be speaking shortly, but without these business partners helping us pay the debt service for the bonds we're issuing, we wouldn't be able to build this project at all. So in order to build this project, we use rates and charges for the operators that operate in and out of this airport. So what that means is we don't use general fund dollars or taxpayer dollars. We're completely self-sufficient, which allows this airport to really expand outside the box. So the folks that are operating at this airport every day pay certain fees to use this airport. We keep that in a bank, and then we will spend the money and it remains at the airport. So without these three folks, we wouldn't be here right now. So I'd like to recognize first Gemini Air Group, a charter management and maintenance company that will be operating the 30,000 square feet office space, hangar space, and then ancillary office space. So Gemini, thank you very much. I have a feeling many of you folks had the opportunity to enjoy our restaurant here during the time when we had it open. Zulu Cafe, which is also another business partner of ours. We work out a deal for them to come back into the brand new restaurant. They have changed their name, so I'm getting to announce that today, to just try something new and exciting. So their new company name will be Volante Restaurant and Lounge, and they will be back when the building opens back in September. So thank you for being our business partner. I appreciate that. And then finally, one service that we provide that provides us significant revenue that I believe our folks love to use it, that operate all over the country. They can fly direct here from anywhere in the world, which is our U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And our service has been skyrocketed. We've had a huge marketing blast out there, and we literally, I think we may break almost 900 operations this fiscal year for folks that are coming in from all over the country. It's 15% increase over last year. So thank you for U.S. Customs and Border Protection. They've been wonderful to work with their new facility, where they'll be operating in the new business center. So thank you very much. So again, I mentioned our prime business partners, Gemini Air Group, and what I would like to do right now is invite Mr. Tim Carpe, President, to speak and let him talk a little bit about his company and himself. So Mr. Carpe, if you would.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you. I'm not as proficient as these guys on speeches, so I'll try and keep mine fairly short. Just thank all of you for taking the time to come out this morning. This has been truly a very exciting day, obviously, for Gemini Air Group, but also for the city of Scottsdale and the airport. When this process started over 18 months ago, we looked at this and we said, that's the perfect fit for our future home. We were fortunate, as the process began, to have the expertise, guidance, and support of Doug Davies from DMD Aviation Group, because we really weren't sure how to process, how to get everything organized, and he was the one guy that came in and really helped us. Without Doug, I'm not sure we would have pulled it all together. Gary gave us a very short timeline to get the RFP in. But we became eventually the successful bidder of what I think will be the crown jewel of this airport. So thank you, Doug. Once the design process began, once we became the successful bidder, we began working closely with Gary and all the design group from DWL, Meet and Hunt. And working with them was just a great experience for us. Again, we weren't that experienced on starting a new build of a hangar. They really stepped in, helped, listened to our needs and our concerns, and in most cases, made sure that we were incorporated into that plan. I believe each airport, an airport director or manager, wants the airport to be the best in the country. I feel that this project, when completed, will make this airport one of the best in the country. I understand how important this project is to the city of Scottsdale, and I also understand the great responsibility the city and the airport has bestowed on Gemini Air Group to be the custodians of this fantastic facility. I commit to you, Mr. Mayor, and to Gary, that Gemini will not let you down. We look forward to working closely with the entire construction team to get this project completed. And I just want to thank all of you again for coming here today, and we look forward to seeing you all at the grand opening. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that commitment and to the project and for your words. You know, I have to mention one thing about Steve Zyomix and how this plane came to us. It's a small matter, but for some of you who are pilots in the room and maybe have some experience in this, Steve and the fellow who was checking him out in this plane flew it from Arkansas to here, some over 30 hours with an average speed of I think 57 miles an hour in an open cockpit. I think Steve picked up a couple years of in aging in that process, but it was quite a day when he did deliver it here. But it's interesting that it's still flying, you know, and that they got it here under its own power, and it went through that whole routine. So I mean, that's a pretty good deal, and that Steve did as well. Again, I want to just thank everyone for taking the time, and it's now to be here with us now, and it's time to make it official. As I mentioned about the wall here before, I don't know exactly if this is a load-bearing wall or anything like that. And we do have an air-conditioned area, at least for the remainder of the time we're here. So we're not punching any holes through it. I'm saying this cautionary. I think that thing is stout enough that there's nobody I think is going to throw anything through that. I've had some experience breaking down walls like this, but many, many years ago. But in any case, I'd like to invite the council members to join me for a photo here before we actually do the sledgehammering, but also participate in that process. And before we clear this project for departure. This project, actually, I suppose we're clearing this building for departure, but nevertheless, and then for the rebuilding of it. And if you don't know already, commemorative bricks for the terminal will be available. If you're interested, please sign up at the list that's over there on the table over here to my right. So I'd ask that the council members come forward for a photo and to assist, and Mr. Mascaro as well, please.
You're gonna give me so much. Oh, you had a baby. Remember that's what they're give me now. Yeah. Bullseye. You got this.
I don't know what the importance is of hitting this.
You don't have to hit the target.
There it is. Yeah. Perfect. Excellent.
All right, here we go. This is a load-bearing wall.
Perfect.
Take the whole building.
Yeah, there you go.